think about Sufi? Isn't that a part of Islam?
Wow. I mean, don't ask me to give a short answer to that one. I mean, that's subject. You know, the problem with Sufism is the term Sufism covers a broad range of things. There are some Sufis who are not Muslim. They actually say that Sufism was before Islam, and that's actually true.
Oh, wow.
It's actually true. Okay? So Sufism is really a form of mysticism. And mysticism claims that the way to know God is through experience, right? Is that you don't.
All right, so just to touch on that real quick, he's absolutely correct, because we've actually come from a Sufi cult group by the name of tmoa, and they were claiming this exact same thing, had a lot of mysticism surrounding it, and it just continues to just get completely out of hand, and it gets really, really progressive to where you get deep down this rabbit hole, and then you look up and you don't even realize where you are, or you're wondering how you even got there. But let's continue.
Know God through studying and so on and reading, but you know God through experience. So Muslim Sufis would claim that what is important is to do lots of worship, lots of prayers, lots of fasting, lots of, live a very ascetic, simple life that is free from, worldly trappings to make.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But we'll let him go on and further explain why it gets progressively worse and what happens in these situations.
A lot of dhikr, a lot of remembrance of God. Okay? So this is what, by and large, Sufis would claim. Okay? However, actually, what the Prophet Muhammad taught and what Jesus taught and what you can find in the Quran is that knowledge is very, very important. Indeed, the Quran says, "Be you Rabbaniyun." Rabbaniyun means scholars, and it's an appeal to everyone to have knowledge. Those who know are not like those who do not know. And knowledge, as the Prophet ﷺ said, comes from study. So there are two extremes here. There's the extreme of the people who study and seek knowledge just for the sake of information. That is not right. Knowledge in Islam is studied so that one can act upon it. But how do we worship God? How do we remember God? How should we behave as believers in God? This is only going to come through knowledge, and the deeper your knowledge, the deeper your study of the Quran, then the more and the greater your appreciation of that.
So to touch on what he was saying right here, I absolutely agree 100%. So in the group that we were involved in, the cult group tmoa, they would be heavy into the practices of a bunch of dhikrs, trying to make a bunch of extra novels and, all this different type of stuff, but then turn around and like they would lead Juma or something and have these passionate speeches or so forth and so on, or lead Taraweeh prayers and stuff like this, but then turn around the very next day or the very next hour and, cheat someone, steal from someone, commit adultery. We knew this one particular brother who was famous for leading the Taraweeh Salats every Ramadan. Come to find out, he was just a habitual adulterer. So he would be leaving after the prayer and he would just go and commit whatever sins he was going to go commit. And it was just crazy. So to the brother's point, it's more about your intentions internally in your heart, and how you show up in the world. It's not about doing a bunch of dhikrs or, saying a bunch of Sufi songs or something like this. No, it's about your character and how you show up.
That is also therefore matched by worship, prayer, fasting, remembrance of God, and so on and so forth. So there is a balance here. Sufism, unfortunately, today has gone to an extreme.
Absolutely.
It's gone to an extreme. And that's the problem with many things. Just like there are some people who concentrate on fighting. Fighting, you know. Yes, Islam has some rules about fighting. Yes, the early Muslims did have to fight in order to fight for their survival and defend themselves and defend their land. But then some people imagine that this is all that Islam is about, this is the most important thing, and then they end up doing crazy things like, you know, killing women and children and all sorts of things that are forbidden by the religion, and they think this is something the religion is teaching. This is the problem. This is extremism. Much of what is Sufism is also a type of extremism. Okay? But it's in another direction. Okay, where they have gone to extremes in asceticism, in, you know, making dhikr and even inventing things and doing crazy things like, you know, dancing around and twirling and, you know, getting to ecstatic states. And, you know, like if you could imagine the Prophet Muhammad and his companions, right, twirling around in the masjid and getting to, you know, ecstatic states. And this is not the religion. The religion is the beautiful middle way. You see? So we should not be extremists at all. In fact, the Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, avoided that. So if by Sufism we mean to remember God, to live a simple life, to do worship, alhamdulillah, there's nothing wrong with that. But we do have to be aware of people who call themselves Sufis, but they sell another extreme version of Islam. We really need to tread the middle path, and that is the Sirat al-Mustaqim, and that is the way that leads to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bi-idhnillah, jazakallah khair.
Alhamdulillah, I really liked how even-keeled he was, how measured he was in his approach to this topic, because of course people would get offended and feel like, oh, you know, you're talking down on this portion or our deen or something like this. Simply put, Islam, the religion of Islam, is sincerity. You have to be sincere in your actions. You have to make sure that they are aligned with what we're supposed to be doing. Anything outside of that or beyond that, you should be really, really careful. You know, so this conference was actually in 2010, I believe. I mean, it's been 15 years, and it's safe to say the whole Sufi movement, we call it goofy Sufis over here, it's gotten way out of control. So we'll just leave it there. Please share any information that you have regarding this topic in the comment sections. Hit the like and subscribe for more. Thank you.